Thanks for coming in and checking out the ancestors. My name is Adrian Nicole. In this episode, we're going to talk about war. When we think about war and the history that been indoctrinated into us in this public education arena, we was taught that the outcome was to achieve some form of freedom, right? In fact, all wars were exactly the opposite. All wars further constructed and overlaid a legal and monetary system that beknownst to you when you participate in it, you are in fact engaging in war. After the abolishment of involuntary servitude into voluntary servitude involved the passage, enactment, and implementation of various building blocks during the Civil War and afterwards to the 1930s and beyond. Some of these main building blocks include the Libra Code, issued under the authority of Martial Law Commander-in-Chief Abraham Lincoln on April 24, 1863, that established the Manual for Rules of War and Military Occupation for the United States. The creation of the civil body through the Civil Rights Acts of 1866, 1870, 1871, and 1875. The 14th Article of Amendment that defined a U.S. citizen as a person born into or naturalized into the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof. The Reconstruction Acts of 1867 and 1868 that established military districts that occupied the defeated southern states. The incorporation of the United States in the Washington District of Columbia on February 21, 1871, establishing a municipal corporation, with additional acts passed on June 20, 1874 and June 11, 1878. The International Treaties of Rules of War on Land in 1899 and 1907, the Trading with the Enemy Act, October 6, 1917, the Emergency Banking Relief Act, March 9, 1933. Executive Proclamations 2039 and 2040. This list provides the primary building blocks of the integrated military occupation and corporate bonding systems in admiralty persistent to rules of international bankruptcy. The Bretton Woods Agreement in 1944 that established U.S. dollar Federal Reserve note as the sole reserve currency of the world. This was also very important. Once the system of military occupation was in place, which is known as martial law, law and equity became fused into a hybrid system known as the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure. This civil procedure was adopted in each of the newly created states, which were corporate subdivisions of the United States. These corporate subdivisions were to be managed as debtor in possession in bankruptcy, with each successive level and layer from state to county to municipality to individual franchise, all being subdivisions thereof. Each one of these subdivisions has a codified system of civil procedures that manages the monetized system of commercial paper that binds each participant as a debtor facility. The rules of engagement on the high seas is controlled by a system of law called admiralty and maritime. True substantive rights are held within one's standing in law and equity. All rights, property, and titles are based on the inherent right to state a claim. So as a bankrupt, we have forfeited the right and thus have no standing in law, nor the capacity to claim the hidden equitable rights, values, and interests attached to the underlying ancestral lineal estate. This is what we about here at Ancient Ancestors. We're here to take back the ancestral lineal estate. Without standing, one cannot claim rights, stand on the land, or have access to law or equity in the truest sense of the terms. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I'll see you in the next episode. Peace.